Hi there, my name is Michelle Edwards. I'm the Instructional Technology Coach at Hazelbrook Middle School. This video features just a glimpse of my work with 3 teachers in the building around instructional coaching.
So I learn mostly by bouncing ideas off of colleagues, collaborating with them, talking through different ideas. I also like to hear about what other colleagues are doing and ways that I can implement their strategies in my classroom. So with coaching, that really helped me because I was able to bounce ideas off of Michelle and kind of get an idea of what might work, what are different ways I could change what I'm doing in order to reach all students in a better way.
So I learn best by seeing things in action and being able to observe other teachers and also having a thought partner, and so thinking aloud and processing out loud. So with coaching, having Michelle as a thought partner and being able to talk with her and debrief and have her listen to me, but also add in where it was needed was super helpful.
So I'm naturally kind of more of a trial and error. I like to work things out as I'm going, and I'm very reflective as I am teaching. So I typically am like, oh, that didn't work very well, and I'm constantly changing things as I'm going. And so for me, having Michelle in my room to be somebody that I could be like, okay, so this is how it started, I didn't like this, I tweaked this, but this is like still the issue that I'm grappling with, was something really great because she has a lot more experience than I do, so she was somebody that I could rely on and in a non-judgmental kind of setting. So having a new curriculum this year, I was really grappling with making some of the new practices work for me. And one of the biggest things that was a push was whole class discussions. And I didn't want to just have it filter down to participation. And so how could I track data that was meaningful to me? And so Michelle and I met and we talked about creating this tracking sheet where I would track like, are kids asking questions? Are they inviting other people into the conversation? Are they only stating their opinion? And then I also tracked how often they shared so that kids could see kind of whether or not they were monopolizing the conversation or didn't really have any of their own thoughts. And then I took that data and I covered up all of the other information except for the student I was conferencing with, and I kind of let the data speak for itself.
So as a world language teacher, Michelle and I were able to go and watch another teacher implement this idea of a circle, but having it used for students to only be speaking in the target language and to be utilizing vocabulary and things, which is really challenging for students to only hear instructions in the target language and for them to only be speaking in the target language. So having that circle also made sure every single student was engaged in speaking in the target language and actively participating. And so our goal was to have 100% student talk, and we achieved that goal through this. It also had students feeling a little uncomfortable getting out of their comfort zone, which we reflected at the end of Circle, asking them how they felt about it, what was challenging, and they said though it was uncomfortable, it also was helpful for them to be speaking in the target language, and we got really positive feedback and they want to continue to do it, so that was really good.
For me, we did kind of 2 different things. Michelle came in and worked on some vocab with one of my classes, trying to help them better understand the vocab words that were like in the main part of the content. She did a word web, and like every day for like a week they kind of touched on it, and so it was more just getting them used to the vocab and that they could be able to explain it but also use it. And then she did some empathy interviews with some of my students. We picked some of students who we could tell by observation and watching them work with math that they were struggling a little bit. So she kind of interviewed them about their takeaway from math and their opinions of math and everything. And so using that data, we were able to kind of work with them and see how we could help them better in the math class. And based on that, through those 2 things, we actually saw an increase in scores on like their assessments and stuff. And there's a few kids that I've seen from those interviews that have really like picked it up and like started turning homework in more or like participating in class more. So
Collaboration.
Vulnerability.
Accountability.